about to hit y'all with another one. Yes, my podcast. Yeah. It's your boy Joe Snow. We back at it, hitting y'all with another week of sports. There has been a lot of good morning, cuz. There's been a lot of trades going on this past week. I mean, crazy. We have March Madness going on this week. Um, we got some upset alerts this week. So it's definitely been a busy week of sports and entertainment. I'm yours truly, Joe Snow, the one and only. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for your support. Go subscribe to me on my YouTube at Joseph Snowden 397 and everything. Appreciate the support on y'all supporting me on the podcast this morning on my sports thing. So let's just kind of jump into it, y'all. So March Madness has been going on. Um, it's been crazy. So which teams do you have for your Final Four? That's the question. One of the questions this morning is which teams do you have for your Final Four? Um, I'll tell you, man. I was watching caught a little bit of the games yesterday, and as you can see here on my screen, um, Alabama's. I mean, obviously, they number one for a reason. They are definitely looking good. I mean, you don't really expect that from Alabama. Alabama, typically is just a great football team, but they're looking really good here in the tournament. Um, Furman upset Virginia yesterday by a point. Um, feel bad for that dude, with that came down to that pass. But yeah, they had an upset on yesterday. So Furman goes on to play San Diego State today this afternoon. Excuse me. And then Princeton. Princeton is in there. I mean, says a lot for a high class school to have a really good basketball team. They go on. They beat Arizona. Um, anyway, Arizona to me, man. They just don't got a great. They don't got a good backcourt. They got a good front court, but they backcourt is just, and it's like every year. I mean, they perform well, they do good, and all that good stuff. Time for them to get in the tournament, it's like they just missing something. Um, you know, I don't know. Maybe they need to get Gilbert. Maybe they need to recall Gilbert Arenas and get them back there at Arizona or something. It just seems like they just be missing something all the time, man. And then moving on, let's see. Duke goes on to play Tennessee. We expected them to beat Oral Roberts. We seen that coming. And then you got Michigan State going on to play Marquette, so that should be interesting. And you got Kentucky moving on as well. Um, Pittsburgh goes on and they beat Iowa State. I seen a little bit of that one. It was a pretty good game. So they go on to play Xavier, and then you got Penn State moving on to play Texas. Texas is another nice team that I think they'll sleep. I had them in my bracket. Um, solid team. Auburn plays Houston. That should be a fairly good one today. Um, Houston, I love their program that they got going on down there. They got some stars of the future, so they look really good. And then of course you see us Miami. Hey, we won yesterday. We beat Drake um, on yesterday. It came down to wire like that second half and less than a minute in the game, but we managed to pull it together. So we managed to pull it through, man. So shout out to the U. and that's what I'm representing today, baby. We still in the tournament. We still in there. We still hanging in there. So Miami is definitely they scared me for a little bit playing Drake. They did. They scared me. They definitely scared me. So um, we'll just go on and see what they do, man, and hopefully they continue to stay on the rise and do big things. And then we got TCU. They're going to be playing Gonzaga. Should be a solid one on this evening. Northwestern and UCLA. Arkansas and Kansas. Um, Kansas looking number one down there in their region. Um, yeah, they solid team. But don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them. Yeah, so it's gonna be a good tournament, man, and we'll see what how today paves out on the rest of the games this afternoon leading up into this evening. Moving on. Last week touched a little bit. Well, last few weeks kind of touched about the MVP race and who you got. Again, my my MVP vote thus far has been Joel Embiid, just doing a sensational job as he always do with the Sixers. He's averaging about 35 minutes a game, 33 points per game, shooting about 54%. Um, his 3 pointers from the perimeter about 35% from the perimeter. So 10 rebounds, 4 assists a game. He's doing really good. So he really got my vote. Denver has been in a slump. I love the Joker and everything, but they have been on a losing streak as of lately. I don't know what they got going on there, so that tells me a lot about what they're going to be doing in the playoffs, and you know, uh, doesn't look too good for them. But Joel Embiid, man, and what he brings to the table. My second one would probably go. I'll go with Giannis. Um, Giannis is just all around team play. Just love his style of play, man. Of course, Jason Tatum. Let me tell you, man. I took my son to the game last Saturday to watch um, the Celtics play the Hawks, and I actually got to see Jason Tatum play for the first time, man. Um, in my very own eyes, and from what I've seen, I really, really like Jason Tatum. Shooter out of this world. I think in that game he had about 34 points. Him and Trey Young, they both basically had a really, really good game. Um, I really like what he brings to the table and how he contributes with the Celtics, and just him and Jalen Brown has been doing just a sensational job. But again, Joel Embiid has my MVP vote and what he's been doing with the team, averaging about 35 minutes a game, 33 points a game, shooting 35% from the perimeter, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks a game, doing just an awesome and sensational job with the Sixers. And Joel Embiid, respectfully, just got my vote. It's nothing against the Joker. I like the Joker. But with Denver kind of just being in a slump right now, yeah, I say that play. But moving on, yeah, let's get into it because there has been a lot going on in the NFL. As y'all may know, it's free agency. Um, it is free agency at the moment, so a lot of teams have been releasing players to open up cap space. A lot of teams have been making some trades. There's been teams picking up players and everything. So very first here on my PowerPoint slide, I'm sorry for my IG followers. I'm working as far as getting y'all in sync with my streaming, so y'all can kind of see what I got displayed. But I also will be posting it on IG as well. So you can go ahead and follow me. I can just go to Joseph Snowden at Joseph Snowden 0397 and subscribe to my YouTube. But Ezekiel Elliott, the Dallas Cowboys has released Ezekiel Elliott, and I honestly didn't see that one coming. But it kind of sets the tone that I don't think Jerry Jones is playing games. He's only getting older. I think he wants to see his team win the chip. Um, and so I think this is more so, I don't really call it a threat, but a threat towards Dak Prescott. Like, Dak, you're gonna have to show up this year, man. You're gonna have to show up, my guy. And so Ezekiel Elliott, what's sad is, he really didn't have a bad year. He really didn't. He really didn't. I mean, he just had to share the load, of course, with Tony Pollard. I mean, Zeke this year averaged about 870 something yards this season, or this past season that just passed. 12 touchdowns. He was getting about 3.8 yards per carry. Um, Tony Pollard, the year before, also had about. I'm sorry, this last year had 1,000 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, and 9 touchdowns. So that tells you kind of where the organization is pretty much headed. They like the younger Tony Pollard. They feel like he's giving up more. He's going to get them more yards. You know what I mean? More yards. And I think Tony Pollard has been there about 4 or 5 years, and each year his yardage um, per season has basically increased. So, the organization just moved in another direction. And fortunately for Zeke, wasn't able to get a chip, wasn't able to get it done while he was there in Dallas. But I do believe that another team does utilize and goes out and seeks for his services. I can see him in the backfield with the Chiefs. I mean, the kid Pacheco, the runner back that the Chiefs got, I could potentially see him there, backing up, or being a backup runner back for the Kansas City Chiefs. So um, New England may go out and get him. I mean, so there's some potential landing spots for him. So we'll see. Next on my list, I got I have let's see my slides here. Okay, famous Jameis Winston. He didn't re-sign for another year with the Saints. Of course, he will be backing up Derek Carr. Do you think that he's still a starter in the league? Do you still think that Jameis Winston is still a starter in this league? I still think there's some room for him in the league. I think he can be a starter somewhere, in my personal opinion. Um, what I would say is I really don't. I personally don't think that he'll be in New Orleans long. I think week 5, week 6, I think someone, unfortunately, injuries are going to happen, right? Especially with quarterbacks. So I think within that week 5, week 6 range, and um, another a team's quarterback goes down or get injured, I think they go out and look for famous Jameis and probably bring him in their organization and on their team for some help. My next slide here. Do you know the Baker man? Do you know the Baker man? Yeah, that's right. Baker Mayfield signed a 1 year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, contract worth up to $8.5 million. Now, here's my thing. They lost Brady. They lost Leonard Fournette, which I will be discussing here this morning as well. Um, Baker Mayfield, he can sling the ball. I'll be curious to just kind of see how this turns out. I mean, you still got some star receivers there. You still have, um, excuse me, sorry for the interruption. You still have, you still have Mike Evans there. I'll just be curious to see how Tampa Bay rebuilds their team. Just kind of see how they rebuild now with Brady exited and Leonard Fournette. Um, you know, huh. So it's just see kind of how their division pays out with Derek Carr actually in New Orleans right now and in Carolina rebuilding. So yeah, we'll just kind of see how it all unfolds. Again, talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here, Leonard Fournette was released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so I kind of feel like he was due for a change as well. Remember years ago, Tom Brady gave him a call and said, "Hey man, we need your services here in Tampa Bay." And then they go on to win a chip and get a chip there in Tampa Bay. But I feel like with the Brady era gone now and Tom Brady out of Tampa Bay, I also feel like it's time for a change for Leonard Fournette. Again, kind of similar to Ezekiel Elliott. I think that um, Leonard Fournette, I believe that his services can be used elsewhere as well. There's some teams out there that need some. I mean, is it will he be a primary running back? No, but I mean he can be utilized in the backfield as a third down back or second. As a backup runner back. Again, I can see. I know I said the Chiefs and Patriots, but they're there. I can possibly see maybe the Redskins or the Commanders. I'm sorry, the Washington Commanders there. Um, hey, what about the New York Jets? Brees Hall is still injured, so I still think that his services can be used somewhere else, and he'll be beneficial to a team. So next here, we're talking about the Carolina Panthers and what they did. They signed Miles Sanders to a 4-year, $25 million deal. I I think this is pretty solid for Carolina to go ahead and do that. Now you bring in some veteran presence into the locker room. We know what they gave up. They gave up some DJ Moore and some picks to Chicago. They are trying to go after their future quarterback. So whether that's Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, I think the pickup of the running back of Miles Sanders will be good for them. Hopefully, they also go into the draft and get some offensive line protection as well and invest into that. But this is a good move because, with a running back that, especially when you got a rookie quarterback coming to your system. Like I said, I don't know who they're gonna actually draft, but this will just basically relieve some pressure off a rookie quarterback. This is a big stage for them. Um, some of them, it comes to them just like that. Some of them it just takes them a while. Everybody's not gonna be a Patrick Mahomes, and it's a problem I dislike in today's day and age. Whether it's basketball, everybody want to compare, LeBron James to and Michael Jordan. These guys are like one of a kind. They are, they're just different. You only get those every so often. And the Patrick Mahomes of the world, so Carolina gets their quarterback of the future. Um, I think this just would be a good move. It's going to relieve a lot of pressure off their rookie cornerback, bringing in a running back that's going to take some of that load off. Still going to have to build around the receiver realm, so we'll see what they do there. But good move by Carolina. Yeah. Y'all already know what it is. Let's talk about the Dolphins and what they did. They acquired Jalen Ramsey in a trade in exchange for a tight end, Hunter Long, and a third-round pick. Now, from my understanding, they wanted Hunter Long out of the picture and everything. Hunter Long wasn't really necessarily um, that good, I guess, per se, from what the reports were saying or whatever. But we got him off. We got him off the books. Traded him in the third-round pick for Jalen Ramsey. Obviously, y'all know who Jalen Ramsey is. All-Pro cornerback. Got him from the Rams. He won a chip in LA. Of course, we got Xavier Howard. So that would be a great dynamic duo. That secondary for that defense. Then I'm just curious to see how Vic Fangio does on the defensive side of the ball. Are you still going to do cover zero? I mean, at this point, you probably could do man to man. I did have some questions last season in regards to Xavier Howard and Xavier Howard, um, you know, on man coverage and getting, getting ran by on a lot of plays throughout the season. So I did have, but I seen that they did also pick up Elliott, the safety from the Detroit Lions. So that should help along with Holland in the backfield as well as our other safety. So um, I really like it. I like on the defensive side of the ball what we've done. Um, we'll see how things pave out on offense. As far as our quarterback, as far as Tua, his health, and I don't know, man. You know, I health is everything, man. So um, I just hope everything works out for this guy, and I hope that he's healthy enough to stay on the field next year. I don't know if they officially did it, but from what I hear, they're looking at picking up his fifth year, his fifth year player option. Um, I believe it was about 23, 25 million bucks, but um, I don't know. I don't think it's the worst thing, and I don't think it's the best thing. And here's what I mean when I say I don't think it's the worst thing and the best thing. What I mean by that is that as far as the best thing, okay, yeah, was the offense rolling when he was in in the offense? Yes, it was. He had the offense clicking, making his passes. He was number one in passing percent or passing completions in the NFL. Yep, yes he was. So I think with that, he's really gonna have to just watch his health, man, and if he can stay healthy and be on the field. What I mean by it's not the worst thing. Okay, 25 million, you pick up his fifth year option. You didn't commit to signing him to a long term contract, 3 years or 4 years. Similar to what the New York Giants did. The New York Giants went ahead and they signed Danny Dimes to what, a 3, 4 year deal, 100 and something, whatever. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I mean, and me personally, I'm not saying Tua is Patrick Mahomes. No, I'm not saying that at all. I would never say that. No, I'm not even saying Tua is, but he's damn sure, to me, in my personal opinion, better than Danny Dimes. He's better than him. So and for the Giants to really believe in Danny Dimes, I don't know. So I trust Brian Dable. I trust the coach. He's good. I mean, I would have gave Saquon Barkley his money. If you ask me, I wouldn't have franchised Saquon Barkley, but that's just my personal opinion. So I don't think it was the worst decision. Yeah, franchise tool, make him do it again. Let's see if you really healthy and if you really think that you can, you know, I don't intend on wasting people time. I don't like wasting people time. So I hope he just doesn't waste my time and it be's the same catastrophe from last year and he can't stay on the field. But we'll see. We'll just see how it goes and we'll kind of go from there. Next on the list. Listen, to me, this has been the worst trade so far. The Las Vegas Raiders. So the New York Giants send the Raiders a third round pick for Darren Waller. Darren Waller can ball. Darren Waller could ease. It's debatable. He could be at least in the top. I mean, top three, top four tight ends in the league. I mean, I'm gonna put Kelsey up there as number one. Travis Kelsey. I'm gonna put Kelsey and Kittle. I'm gonna fight you because that's neck and neck. I'm gonna go with Kelsey. It was off the Super Bowl ring, so I'm gonna go with Kelsey. I'm gonna go with George Kittle. Mark Andrews will probably be my three, but Darren Waller is sitting at least 3 or 4, and I don't understand why would you give up Darren Waller. I, I mean, when he's healthy and when he's on the field, I mean, man can run good routes. He's really bulk. He's big. I mean, I don't understand why the Raiders would give that up. Um, I don't know. I just feel, I feel like Josh McDaniels, their coach is just trying to make that whole team into the Patriot way. I understand that I don't know, he has this whole philosophy and want to bring everything that he got from New England over to the Raiders. I don't really like that move for them. But shout out to the Giants for getting Darren Waller. We was just talking about Danny Dimes earlier. I think that does help. Danny Dimes as far as now he got somebody else they can throw the ball to. So shout out to the Giants for that for picking up Darren Waller. But for the Raiders, I just really don't understand why would they do that. Then they pick up Jimmy Garoppolo. Now Jimmy Garoppolo, porn star Jimmy is what they say they call him or his nickname. And then y'all got him in Vegas. He'll be. I don't know if anybody read his comment the other day. Or he had this sub to my. He can't wait to go to the Bunny Ranch in Vegas. I, porn star Jimmy. Look, man, I like Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, and that will be interesting. I hope that the Raiders got the offensive line built. Because if not, yeah, Jimmy will be on the ground. I'll be running for his life. He's very fragile, very, very fragile. Um, yeah, again, and I know that there are some relationships there between him and head coach Josh McDaniels. For y'all that don't know, Jimmy Garoppolo played behind Tom Brady in New England, and so his offensive coordinator was offensive coordinator was Josh McDaniels, who's now the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So I mean we'll see how that pays out, see how it go. Um, I think he's too fragile. Maybe the Raiders still kind of go in the draft, and maybe they can still draft one of those quarterbacks. And that's going to be in the draft. And we'll just see who's still available, still sitting there. So it'll be really interesting. So we talked about we talked about March Madness. We discussed what MVP potential MVPs for the NBA. I had Joel Embiid. We talked about some of these trades that happen, teams releasing players, teams picking up players. Um, we kind of talked about a lot here on this morning. And then I know I probably missed that. There was so many trades that was happening. I was trying to keep up with them and keep up with a lot of the big names and stuff like that. And just kind of wanted to touch bases on some of them this morning on the podcast. So it is a lot. I love free agency because that's what happens. And then not only that, we got the draft to look forward to next month. I believe the draft is April 12th. So that'll be interesting seeing what teams is going to do. There are still some big names out there. So to see what is going to happen, I'm very curious to see as I had my good friend on here last week, Nick. We were talking about the Baltimore Ravens and what the Baltimore Ravens are going to do as far as Lamar Jackson. And then we got Aaron Rodgers. I'm just sick and tired. He wasn't in my slides. He wasn't in my slides this week in my presentation as far as my podcast and discussing them because I got tired of hearing about his whole situation last week. Man, going to the Jets and I think that deal is still trying to be is still in progress of being worked out. Um, I heard that that the Packers won the first round pick for Aaron Rodgers. Um, y'all, he's 39 years old. And then he's indecisive on if he's going to play year to year. I'm not giving up no first round pick for Aaron. Just not doing it. I'm not doing it. I guess maybe a second, maybe a third round pick, but I'm not doing that for Aaron. I'm not doing it. Then he wants to. This is what I don't understand. He wants to bring Lazar, his receiver, over. Randall Cobb, Mercedes Lewis. You complain that you didn't have people to throw to over there, but then you bring them over there. Cobb wasn't even 1,000-yard receiver. You know, I just don't get. I mean, the Jets core and what they got, we kind of think would be enough. So to me, he's such a diva. I don't know. I just the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, but um, I don't know. When he goes to New York, we'll see. They are in our division with Miami. I don't fear him. I really don't. I got them going to league. If he goes over there according and with the pieces they got and looking at the schedule, I got them probably going 9-8. I don't see. I don't know. I just don't really see it. My personal opinion, but that's just me. Anyway, Hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday morning. Again, go subscribe to me at Joseph Snowden 397. Follow me on Facebook, Joe Snow Podcast. Follow me here on Instagram as well. I thank y'all for supporting me and all that good stuff. Um, have a great Saturday. Drink your water. Mind your business. Stay out of other people's business. Yeah, this world just would be a better place if we just do that, right? But it's yours truly, Joe Snow, and we back at it, and we'll be back at it again next week. Same time, same place, and the full nine. Love y'all. Get at y'all later on. Deuces.